Hello, hello friends. Horace Levy here again. What Jamaicans want and do not want. This blog is a review of 3 recent ones with the intention of making their messages stronger, clearer, reaffirming them in effect. The first one is the workers' uprising in the tourist industry. Every week. This continues. Every week. 1 or 2 more hotels have the experience of workers clamoring for their proper wages, working conditions, and respect from management and ownership. This shows the width and the depth of the problem, that it continues like this. And the management have in fact met with them. The Joint Trade Union Confederation of Trade Unions has picked up on the call of the workers and is demanding of the industry that it sets standards for every category of work. Above all, that respect is given to workers by managers and owners. So, in addition, the JCTU, this Joint Confederation, is proposing a joint industrial council with representatives from every interested party. It would take up the JIC, not just the current demands, but any others that may come up. For example, from the Jamaica Union of Travelers Association. In other words, of all workers in the industry. Now, this call for a joint industrial council is not yet seen, and there's no reason for any further delay. It's needed for the industry, the tourism industry, to have an equity and sustainability in its development. Further delay in establishing this JIC is not tolerable. The second topic I have before us is body-worn cameras by police. Hugh Faulkner, head of INDICOM, the Independent Commission of Inquiry, is pointing out the value of a transparent examination of an issue, which is what the cameras provide, particularly where there is conflict over a fatality. His deputy, Hamish Campbell, points out nonetheless that in 2023, some 253 or more shootings comprise policemen without any wearing, much less using, a body camera. And some of these were planned operations on which police fatalities occurred. So action is needed here. The government says it is putting up the money for the cameras. Former Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner Mark Shields points to the more than 2 decades of proven value of body-worn cameras. And the police commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake, has been heard trying to persuade his men to make use of them. But is persuasion enough? NGO Director Michael Jackson has rightly called for the use of the body cameras to be made mandatory. And this would mean, seems to me, penalties, serious penalties, enforced. So, Commissioner Blake, you have a pressing task on your hand to see to it that your men are not only wearing but using body-worn cameras, and that this takes place immediately. Again, there is no excuse for delay. All right. Well, that leads into my third topic for today, corrections. Recently, a policy document came out, correction policy, which follows and seeks to follow the Norwegian model. In fact, even our neighbor, Dominican Republic, has begun to implement this model in half of its over 40 prisons. What this model calls for, basically, and this is really crucial, is the separation of sociopaths from the first and second time offenders, both of them presently housed in the same Tower Street and Spanish Town prisons. Separation. The sociopaths, the serial murderers, rapists, child abusers, have a very bad influence on other first and second time offenders. They must be separated. A special security prison for the sociopaths. And there's a model proposed by now deceased University Professor Bernard Headley to be found in the United States. And the cost, because this would be a small prison, would not be the billions that are bandied around. The other prisoners, the first and second time offenders, can be housed, well, in the 506 low security facilities that Jamaica already has, like Tamarin Farm, which in fact is not even fully utilized right now. So, that's what needs to be done in that regard. The policy document talks as though this approach is frustrated by the cost, which is put at 30 billion Jamaican dollars, 200 million US dollars. But this is a small amount put beside the billions of US dollars that are poured into roads, highways, buildings, bridges, and so on. There is a tendency to treat the human element in infrastructure as negligible. It's ignored. It's not seen to be part of infrastructure. And yet it is basic. And it must be treated as such. And this is needed for the policy in which the medical approach needs to be replaced by a more holistic one. And the reintegrative element involving housing, education, health, a community approach needs to be also put in. So, action again. There is no need for further delay. The priority must be given to the human element, not overlooking the fact that recidivism has an impact on crime, which is high in Jamaica. See you again in a few days. Good day for today.